Music though.
To Selkirk. Oh, maybe I can play music. Let's wait. Please, please, please play. Ah. Oh. Oh, someone's watching. Yes, I'm trying to figure out my music so I can drive home. I'm driving from Minneapolis to Winnipeg. Oh, listen to the radio. Yeehaw. Shit. I'm gonna. Ay, ay, ay. This is gonna be the most boring live. Oh, there we go. Reconnect audio. Let's see what's happening. Maybe, maybe, maybe. I'm scared if I go off of the screen that. Oh, there we go. And let's hit play. Maybe, maybe, maybe. I hope I don't ditch this. Oh, I can't play music. Do you even care about music? And I don't know about the chat. I really suck. But you know how it is. It's a long drive. What's this? Oh, I can have a green screen. Oh, I have a green screen. I don't know how to get rid of it. No, I don't want a green screen. Well, let's fucking drive. Here we go. Yeehaw. Now, I need your help. It's a long drive. Keep me awake. Let's go. I don't know if you can watch the road. This might really suck. Because now I think it really sucks. Because I thought I could somehow play my Spotify music while I drive. But I guess I can't. Okay, can you still see me? Yes, you can. Oh, and I don't have my map. I'm going to go away from the screen here. And let's see here. Where's the map? I have no idea if you can. Oh, okay. I'm still live with literally no music, which sucks for everybody. I know it sucks. And it's dark. Everybody's leaving. That's fine. Oh, I gotta go this way. 8 hours of this. You keep me awake just by me talking to you. I'm gonna probably fucking shut this off right away because it's pissing me off. But, let's talk about MIW. Oh man, MIW is like one of my favorite places to wrestle, especially Chanhassen. Man, the fans. And, young Wyatt. Such a good young talent. And, real interesting because the other kid, I can't remember his name. I'm a horrible human being. But he mentioned that he is potentially going on the CWF Death Tour. That's in Canada. And yes, I did that tour back in the olden days with Ernie Todd and Kerry the Pitbull Brown and TJ Bratt and Zach Mercury. Shout out to those guys. Hey, speaking of TJ Bratt, I've got a show January 24th. It's the annual show for Jesus. Sorry. I just don't want to get in a car accident here. It's our annual Dream Factory show, and we are going to take some time and congratulate TJ Bratt and recognize him for his contribution to Winnipeg wrestling. I mean, I'm not saying it's like the Winnipeg Wrestling Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that at all. But we definitely are going to recognize him and give him the love he deserves at that show. So many different guys are volunteering to be at that show. I'm super excited about that. Yes, I said super excited a couple times. I have no idea if you can hear me, and I can't see any comments. So make sure you leave lots of comments so I can read them when I stop for a piss, and then I might actually talk about them. It's fucking dark, so I'm gonna see if I can. Oh no, that doesn't help. Anyways, you're gonna live this with me. I don't know if I can keep it up for 8 hours. I gotta figure out some tunage because it's not freaking playing my Spotify. If you know how I can go on YouTube Live and play my Spotify at the same time, you should leave a comment, because usually on these road trips, if you've ever been with me, I sing. I sing a lot. It keeps me awake. Although I do have some free coffee from Chanhassen Legion, which I'm pretty excited I'll be drinking like a madman, because I've got 8 hours of driving. And my wife messaged me. She's like, are you driving straight through, or are you going to sleep in the car at minus 30? I'm going to do my best to drive straight through. I do need to stop for gas at some point, because tomorrow my kid has a ringette game. And if you know anything about me, I am filming. I have agreed to film my kids' season of ringette games, so I can't let the kids down. You should check out my other channel. I film those games with like 6 different cameras. I go all out for those kids. I'm a big mark for that. So there's no music. I wonder. I don't want to get in an accident here. You guys are probably hoping I get in an accident. I have no idea if there's a CD. Oh, there's no CD. Look at that. Son of a bitch. Okay, let's see what I can do here. Audio off. Oh, I get a red light here. No disc. 7 people are watching me struggle on YouTube Live here. Look at that. That's pretty exciting here. Audio off. No disc. Fuck you. Oh, I have no idea what this is going to do to my YouTube. Maybe they'll really... Oh, Jesus Christ here. No disc. Yes, I know there's no goddamn disc here. This is what it's like to drive with me. Haha. Fun times, right? Let's go. Apps. No, I have none of these apps. Home. I'm going to shut this fucker off. Literally 6 people are watching me drive. Oh, my seat is still reclined, because if you'll watch my vlog later, I took a bit of a nap. Oh, there's a car trailing me here. So I had a bit of a nap at about 4:30. It wasn't the best nap, I'm not going to lie. It's probably for like 5 minutes. I hope you guys can hear me. But, we're here for a good time, and unfortunately, it's going to be a long time. I was really hoping that I could be listening to Spotify right now. Again, if you know how the hell I can do that, put it in a message, because I'm sure I'm going to have a piss break right away. This is the big time in pro wrestling, folks. Drive 8 hours. Well, it probably took me more than 8 hours to get there. Wrestle, leave, drive that same amount of time back. So at least 16 hours on the road for a little bit of fame. It really is a fame. Let's not kid ourselves, but I love it. And I am old. I'm an old man. I'm 47. Hell, in 3 months, I'm going to be 48. Should I retire? Like, let's be honest here. I think I know how to wrestle where I don't have to worry about getting hurt. But, I listen a lot to Jim Cornette, like Jim Cornette shoots and his drive-through and all that stuff. And he talks a lot about the Sheik and the Bruiser and their territories aging out. And I read the Sheik's book, and they talk a lot about guys, the territory aging out because the guys were old and they didn't bring in new talent. So do I think like an old guy like me should step aside for young guys? Yes, I do. But I also think, deep down, I think that maybe there's a spot for an old guy like me. I definitely am lower. I need to get lower on the card, work with the young guys, teach them the little tricks that I know, and hopefully it's worth it for them. Wow, I have like 2 people watching. Who are you 2 people? I can't believe you're watching. Yes. Are you going to watch for 8 hours? Are you in it to win it for... If you leave a comment, I'll stay awake. That's for sure. So what has been going on with me? You'll see maybe earlier in the vlog I talk a little bit about some stuff, but I took November off. First, I promised I was going to film my kids' ringette season, so I'm there for every game. And honestly, it takes me about 6 hours to edit because I don't do live switching. I really wish I did, but it takes me about 6 hours, so I do that. My mom's been in the hospital a few times, and I am the guy that takes care of her. Like, she lives on her own still, but I'm the guy. I'm the only one of the kids that lives at home, or lives back. Like, we live in the same town. So I'm the only one in the area, so it's my responsibility, and I'm not bitching about it. That's my mom. I love her, so I do that. And so me being off November was also a good thing. My wife's birthday was in November. My kid's birthday was in November. It's a busy month, but I really missed wrestling. Like, I see all my friends posting. They're at shows, they're working, they're having a good time, they're making money, they're doing all this stuff. And I was just like, I feel bad that I'm not doing it. But I felt more bad for my YouTube viewers and like my subscribers and the people that have the paid subscription too. Like, I feel like I gotta give them content, and I feel guilty when I don't. I don't want to give shit content, and here's me saying that, but literally, you're watching a black screen right now of me just rambling. I don't even know if you can hear me. So if you can't hear me, hey, it is what it is. But if you can't hear me, woo! I want to take a second and talk about Katrina Creed. I don't know if you know who Katrina Creed is, but she's a wrestler from Montreal. I think she's from Montreal anyway. Did I just miss my turn? I hope I didn't just miss my turn. And she's currently, she's really going out on a limb and trying to get noticed. And she's working for Juggalo Championship Wrestling, which is awesome, pretty cool. I started watching the show with, now Vince Russo is I think he's the booker, producer, whatever it is, right? It could be a story, who knows? But I'm watching it closely, and she's on that show now. Good to see Canadian Kid on that show. And she's announced it on her social media, so it's not like it's a big surprise, but I helped get her booked in Japan. Now, I gave some gears to a certain young Minnesota wrestler because I've offered to help him. So hopefully he takes the advice I've given him, and I'll just get him booked. I have no idea what time it is right now in Japan, but I feel like people in Japan are awake right now because it's night here. So, konnichiwa if you're out there, and kampai. I wish I was drinking. Oh, the MIW locker room had free pizza, which I had, free coffee, free beer. And I never drink the free beer because I have a long drive home, So, man, do I ever miss free beer. I miss out almost every time. Only once I've got the chance to, maybe twice, to enjoy it. Once because I was staying the night, and the other time I had a driver with me. So, maybe 3 times. Here's me saying that. Yeah. Terry Fox. If you don't know who Terry Fox is, you need to do some research. And I don't mean Terry Fox, the Canadian that ran for cancer. I mean Terry Fox, the Minnesota wrestler. He wrestled as the masked jungle fighter, or like I actually mentioned in my vlog when he came out to Canada, Luscious Larry Lipton. Teamed with my good friend, beautiful Bobby J. And been a great help for me. And then there's Tim Larson. Poor Tim, he books MIW. Please reach out to him if you want to get booked there. Send a message. He loves getting lots of messages from people. And he actually loves country music. So if you sent him probably an obscure reference to country music, you might get booked. There was 2 guys sick. One was a ring announcer, one was a wrestler. So he had to rechange the card. I know what that's all about. And he had to ring announce. I didn't even get to say goodbye to those guys because, again, I had to hit the road. I'll probably be home at, I don't know, 6 in the morning. 6 in the morning is I bet you 7. I bet you 7 in the morning is when I'm going to get home. If you're still watching at 7 in the morning, I give you props. So I feel like I should just let you watch the road for a little bit and shut up. I had Culver's. When I come to the States, I love Culver's. There's no Culver's in Winnipeg. Do you know what? If you don't know what Culver's is, you got to come here. had like a double butter burger. Unfortunately, I don't even know their menu. I have to read it and like just pick, right? And I had a cement mixer. It's like a blizzard. If you know me, I'm a whore for ice cream, like a literal whore for ice cream. So my fucking screen on my car keeps saying no disc to play. I know there's no goddamn disc. I had like a 90s or 2000s rap CD somewhere here, which would be entertaining for you to listen to me do some rapping because, you know, I'm a bit of a rapper, a bit of a country music singer, especially if I had some beers in me. Maybe one of these times, I'm going to, instead of playing Board Game Mania with Mike Mission and Spanky and Shadow, who never shows up for it, but we'll have Karaoke Mania. If that's something you'd like to watch, you should put a message in there. Again, if you're leaving messages, I'm not seeing them because I'm driving, but I will stop for a piss stop eventually, and I'm going to try to read them. I don't know. I don't know if this is crazy what I'm doing here, and I don't know if I'm lost because I don't have my map going. My shoulder's sore. A little bit of a wild young horse I was wrestling today. What's the kid's name? He's wrestling for 10 months. Tons of fire. Good kid. I remember being young. You remember being young? Maybe you are young. Oh, I'm going to show you. Here's the highway. I don't know if you can see it. Look at this merging. We'll let that guy in. Can you see that? Letting him in here. Driving down the road. I'm not just sitting in the dark here. Woo! Oh, I'm sweating now. I'm going to have to take my winter jacket off because it's so warm. I'm going to take my 2 cup. Maybe my bald head will shine a little bit here. Oh, yes. So, Tim gave me the gears the last couple of shows because I am a heel. I'm a bad guy. Evil, evil man. And I don't like going out to the fans as an evil man to sell merchandise. Now I should, as a pro wrestler, try to sell as much merchandise as I can. And I understand that 1,000,000%. But I feel that it takes away from my character. Like, I want people to hate me out there. Like, you don't want to be, if you watch a movie, you want to believe, you want to suspend disbelief, I think is the term everybody uses. And you want to hate the bad guy, right? And that's what I want. But I get out there and I'm trying to sell some stuff, but I don't want to be pushy because I'm a bad guy. I feel guilty. I see kids with no money. I give them a couple. Here's a sticker, here's a sticker, here's some free stickers, that kind of stuff. I did sell one book, though, which is pretty awesome. Now, am I going the highway here? Again, I don't have my map on. I do have it on, but I don't see shit. Maybe I'll let you look here, because I think you can see here. I'm just going to drive. What's the worst that happens, right? I'm just going to drive. I should know the way. I come out here all the time, right? I feel that north is a safe bet. Not east, but north. Canada's north, right? If I'm wrong, Canada isn't north, you should leave a comment down below. There's a north exit. Shit. I'm scared I'm going to ditch you all. If I do, I'll come right back. I just got to look at my map. No idea if you heard any of that. But in 8.7 kilometers, I need to turn. And I feel that I probably missed my turn. And that's why it's doing that. But this YouTube Live is killing me softly. I can't listen to music. I can't figure out my... We'll see what happens here. And I can't see my map, so I missed my turn. Maybe it's going to be a 10-hour drive. I don't know. My kids' ringette game tomorrow is it's like 2 hours away, so we got to leave early because I think the game's at noon. We got to get there an hour before. It's going to kill me. We'll see. Well, I'm going to yawn already. On the road 22 minutes and I yawned. That's not good. Not good at all. So I guess I missed John Cena's last match. I haven't seen any spoilers. Did Chris Jericho show up on Saturday night's main event? That was rumored. did John Cena win, lose, draw? I think he was wrestling Gunther. Sadly, I don't watch WWE that much. I'm too cheap for Netflix. I know I should watch because I love wrestling, but lately my big project is I love wrestling, and you know what I really love is wrestling magazines, old wrestling magazines. And I acquired a whole bunch of digital copies of magazines. So I'm taking them off of, like, it's on a guy's Dropbox, and there's like lots. I'm taking them off there and putting them onto an external hard drive, and then it gets better. Apparently, and there's tons of. He's also got videos, so there's lots. I'm gonna say that again, lots. So I'm then going to take those videos, and I've been doing this research about a home server. There, I think it's a system called Plex, and here's me rambling about random stuff. But 400 meters, shit! It's rerouting me. What the fuck? So there's a home server where I can have all of my digital media that I own. So movies that I own and everything. So I won't need a Netflix ever again. All my movies that I own and wrestling I own, I can just watch it on any of my TVs at home. And then there's even an upgrade where you can do it so that you can access it somehow on your, like, anywhere on your own device. So it'd be like, I guess the internet somehow would message to your home server. So I really think this project's going to take me like 6 months to do, but once it's done, it's going to be super awesome. And then I probably would be able to share some of those files at that point with some of you guys. And another, if you guys don't know, I got a project going right now where I'm selling off tons of Japanese wrestling merchandise. And I'm going to be honest, I love Japanese wrestling. I have tons of merchandise, and I'm selling them off at way below prices you can get anywhere online. Like, really, I believe they're reasonable prices as a big mark for Japanese wrestling. You can't get them cheaper anywhere else. But here's me not being a good businessman. I don't have like a website or anything. I just have a Facebook, not even a group. I just made up a profile called Fighting Spirit Collectibles. So if you want some Japanese wrestling merchandise, add that Fighting Spirit Collectibles as a friend. It's me. You can send me a message. I got my buddy Jimmy also checking it out for me, some messages. Cause sometimes, you know what? Here's me. I'm Mr. Tech Savvy. I'd say, oh, yes, I'm going to set up the server while I'm editing my kid's game. It was like 6 cameras. But figuring out sometimes like Instagram and Facebook, I'm like an old boomer. It's tough for me. Now, it says here in 100 meters, I need to make a turn. Is it? Am I going to miss? Fuck. How is this? Why is my map being so fucking shitty? Rerouting again. Oh, fuck. Okay. I'm like missing where I need to go. Exit 116B. Okay, in 1 kilometer. That's where I'm going. Okay, I got to watch it seriously here. Maybe I'll let you go. I don't. Okay, let's see what's going on here. 116B. Let's check it out here. I'm driving like a baba. Oh, there's 116A. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it? Now I gotta go to 116B. Probably miles out of my way right now. Of course I said miles because I'm in the USA. Can you hear me, everybody? Now I gotta take this serious here. 116B. Okay, here we go. Come on, baby, let's go. That's a little bit of yeehaw, Cadillac Blackjack. I forget who's singing that song. Okay, I've hit, and now it says 47 kilometers straight. Yeehaw! So off we go. Wow, literally 6 people are watching me just drive. Oh, there's an airport here. I don't think I'm that far out of the mix here. If you know where I am right now, leave a comment down below, right? Oh, man. Maybe you can see me like this. I don't know. Fuck. I'm sorry I'm swearing, but I do swear from time to time. You can see, here's what my, that's what my thing is saying there. No disc. I know there's no disc. I don't know how to stop that, but there's no disc. Yes, I know. Okay, there's I'm going to just drive straight. Heads Carolina, tails California, right? Somewhere greener, somewhere warmer. I think that's the way that goes. Now, also, here's hot off the presses. If you know, I'm a big points nerd, where I do all these different gimmicks to get different points and free things. Well, on Tuesday, notice Tuesday's like the low time for flying. I've got enough points where my wife and I are flying for free to Puerto Vallarta. And then we have enough points, hotel points, to stay for free for like 6 days. So I'm excited about that. I'm glad I didn't really get hurt at the show, because I'm going to be taking a non-wrestling holiday. Part of me wants to search. I've wrestled in Cancun before. I've wrestled in Mexico. I probably could find a booking, but it's good just to go and relax and not do pro wrestling. Be a family man. And this is my kid's 18. My kid's staying home, and I'm going to be there for my mom if she needs anything. So thank you, Max. You're a good kid. I don't care what anybody says about you. That's a Bobby J joke. Speaking of Bobby J just got back from Mexico, and he won this Temptation Island awesome man competition or something. I don't know. There's Mall of America next, right? I'm going the right way. But he blew out his knee doing it. There's me saying, us old guys got to stay away from the high spots, right? He blew out his knee in Mexico, and everybody, you have this insurance on your credit cards and that. It sounds like it didn't go that great for him, but it also sounds like he didn't lose a lot of money doing this. He's back home right now. His knee is up. So there's something else I should talk about too. I didn't mention it in my vlog, but I need to mention it. Or I'm just going to probably put a dedication at the beginning of this vlog to Travis Sharp. Oh man, he's younger than me and he passed away. Like, horrible, horrible, horrible. He was such a good guy. He loaned me his tights my first trip to the States. And he shows them. Nor am I saying he was my best friend at all. Like, I just saw him maybe like 20, 25 times on shows or whatever, but always a good guy. And it's not like he didn't have heat with anybody ever. Again, truly a good guy. And unfortunately, he passed away. And again, this vlog that you're going to see on the vlog, shitty. If you're going to skip a vlog, maybe skip this one coming up. It's a shitty one. I didn't do lots of videoing. But again, trying something different here. But again, thoughts out to Travis Sharp's family. They did a 10-bell salute for him today at the show. And it's weird. I was expecting for all the boys to be able to go out to that, but it was just, we were staying in the back, and when the Romans say, right? So, but again, it was shocking to hear so many people in wrestling pass away early. And here's me saying wrestling, and I know people in all different businesses and life's tough, right? And people pass away all the time. It's not just wrestling, but you spend that time, you give your body to a guy in the ring. It's just different, right? Like, so again, Travis, you'll be missed. I'll say a lot of guys said a lot of nice things about you in their dressing room today, but that's no different than when you were alive and in the business. Nobody said a bad word about you. So now let's shift gears again. JB Trask. I don't know if you know who JB Trask is, but I don't want to call him an old-time Minnesota wrestler, but definitely, I believe he's retired from wrestling now, but he was a staple in the Minnesota Midwest scene for years. And there's a Winnipeg connection. If you know anything about River City Wrestling, him and Johnny Parks came up for, like, I want to say River City Wrestling, like the original River City Wrestling, one of their original shows. And I can't remember the full gimmick. He was either in a title tournament or he was like the kayfabe champion and dropped it to someone in Winnipeg. But it's really cool how the Winnipeg scene is intertwined with the Minnesota scene. I wish the guys came up more too, and our guys came down there more. But the border's a pain in the ass. I'm not going to kid myself here. It sucks crossing the border. Even nothing to do with wrestling, it sucks. A Canadian, I'm sure everybody thinks that, or you think my opinion of the States right now is a little different because of everything going on with Trump. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit worried always coming across the border, especially with Trump as the president. Because you see all these things, I see all these things on TV where there's ICE detaining people, like all this crazy stuff, and you never know. But I find it amusing sometimes to rib my American friends, and I am sticking by my guns that the price of gas now cost me $4 more US to fill up my tank. Now you can argue, is that because of the government? It probably isn't, because inflation everywhere. I bet you if you went to Spain, or if you went to Japan, or I know inflation in Winnipeg, the prices are up everywhere. So you can't just blame Trump for that. But I don't want to go too much into politics, but it's a tricky time for everybody. You don't know what's real news, and I'm saying that from I try to keep up with the news. One story, American specific, will say, one news channel will say one thing. It'll be like X. And I don't mean X as in Twitter. I mean, they'll say X. And then another channel will have the exact same story, but twist it to Y. I feel like in Canada it's not like that. But, what do I know, right? I'm just a guy that can't remember spots because I'm an old man. Speaking of, I just mentioned Spain. I've got a good friend in Spain that he messages me every day. Antonio. And he is the biggest Mercedes Moné fan you'll ever see. He tweets her, or I don't know if it's tweets anymore, or X, I don't know what it's called, but literally every day. I hope he joins this stream for a minute. And I really am thinking there's no way I'm going to fucking last 8 hours rambling to you, especially with no fucking music. What else should I talk about? Super Jobber Cup in Winnipeg. Who won? I don't know. Who won? I haven't been online. See, Canadian Wrestling's Elite, the big organization came off a big tour, and they had the big Super Jobber Cup, where it's like a reverse tournament, where if you lose, you advance. So it's like the biggest loser. But I really think this, if you're listening to this, CWE, Super Jobber Cup is great for, let's say, the hardcore wrestling fans, like real hardcore fans. Maybe, this is just spitballing here, if you want to capture a bigger audience, you might try calling it the Biggest Loser. Although maybe people that watch that show might think it's a weight loss tournament, which that would also be entertaining. Maybe CWE should run a weight loss tournament called the Biggest Loser, and that would be entertaining. I'll tell you, I'll watch that. I don't know who would be in it. Speaking of Biggest Losers, though, look at me. Look at this. Here's me going and transitioning here. Spanky. Man, Spanky's losing weight left, right, and center. I see pictures of him on Facebook, and when you lose weight, you always see it in the face. Man, he's turned into a skinny guy. Spanky, if you're listening to this, your gimmick is you're a big, fat guy. You need to stay big and fat to keep your gimmick. If you retire from wrestling, okay, get skinny. But I'm telling you, brother, I'm telling you, don't lose your gimmick. You'd be like Andre the Giant trying to I don't know, get short or something. Figure out get short and be like skinny or something. It's not Kamala going on Slim Fast. It's not what you do. But here's me saying that, and we all know, as an indie wrestler, that it's not what we do for a living fully, right? It's like a hobby to some guys, and I'm sure that when he loses the weight, it will extend his life. So wrestling isn't life, although sometimes I feel like it is in my heart, but it's probably the best thing for him to drop some weight. Now, I'm seeing the road, and I don't have my map up again, and it's saying south. And I don't want to go south. And there's an exit saying north. Uh, I don't want to ditch you guys again, but I might have to for a second here. South and north. I want to go north. I believe I want to go north. Right? North. But nothing's coming up on my map screen. Fuck a duck here. I'm gonna ditch you. It says 28 kilometers. Keep going this way. Yeehaw, I guess this is west. I'm going west. Ay, ay, ay. So, back to weight loss and Spanky, and now we'll transition to me where, you know, I'm maybe, let's say, a few pounds overweight here right now, where I'd like to be. But, you know, I find that when I'm heavier, I'm stronger in that ring. And, I mean, to me, that's important where I can pick guys up. Now, you can say, well, Rob, you could be small and just lift weights and be strong. Sure, but I feel that sometimes when you watch, especially independent wrestling, you don't want to see just a bunch of small guys. And I am a small guy. You know, I'm 216, 217 right now. But I'm not the tallest guy. So I think it means a lot that I am heavier. And we can debate that when I was 185, wearing trunks at 185, that maybe I looked more like a wrestler-ish. I look like a small wrestler. I mean, wrestlers are all different shapes and sizes. Again, you heard me throwing out Kamala's name there. I wrestled Kamala for 45 minutes one time. I'm just saying that. And I'm not saying I'm trying to be Kamala, because I'm not. But I guess what I'm saying is that I probably need to find that happy medium. My mobility isn't that bad because I still focus on flexibility. Maybe my wind. That's because I was being lazy too. I've been being lazy in November. I've been being lazy. Although the last couple of weeks I picked it up, but that's because I was like, oh, I'm wrestling in Minnesota. I can't be a fucking tubbleward that can't move around, right? But I've been an athlete all my life. Not necessarily been working out all my life, because especially the last couple of years I've been a lazy fat fuck. But I still have that, I guess you call it muscle memory, where, you know, I played a decent level, provincial level basketball, badminton. I was provincials for javelin, shot put, long distance running. So, you know, I have a sports background, and I think that's important, where you need that background. And lots of guys get into wrestling with no sports background, and I don't want to say usually they don't do well. I'm sure there's guys with no sports background that do well, but usually they don't have like an MMA background or something. Oof, I'm cooking in here. I gotta turn the heat down. The heat is on. That's why I'm really proud of my kid. My kid's in university, first year university, and oh man, I remember being in university. I don't remember being this hard. Oh, they went through exams and they had projects due and kept up playing ringette. They had practices, 2 practices a week, a game, sometimes 2 games a week. So that's 4 days. They had projects, like lots of projects due, and exams, like pulling all-nighters. But still, putting in that time for sports is important in life, I think. And I mean, it doesn't have to be ringette or hockey or basketball or football or MMA or anything. It could be any kind of sport. Hell, it's just the commitment, right? The commitment to working hard, I believe, pays off, right? My college roommate was a very high level golfer, and he was athletic. He really played, although he was also my doubles provincial badminton partner, so he did play some sports, but he was athletic from golf. My first cousin is a pro golfer. When I say pro golfer, like not PGA or anything like that, I'm not sure how that works, but very athletic. So any sport, I shouldn't be saying golf isn't athletic. I shouldn't be making it sound like that, but and the biggest sport is right now, and I think it's going to explode on TV, and maybe it already has, is like pickleball. I have never played pickleball, but I'm interested, especially as an old man like me. But if you've ever played pickleball, or is it on TV? You know, I was watching, so I don't have cable, but I've got like Pluto TV and Tubi and all this different stuff for free gimmicks, right? And there was a channel, and it was for, I think it's called corn husking or something. Maybe not husking. And they were throwing beanbags. It was beanbag toss, and it was on TV, and it had a whole channel for it. I can't believe. Here's me saying I can't believe people are watching that. I mean, people watch darts too, but curling. Curling's actually pretty entertaining. I curl the provincials too, just throwing that out there. But I just can't believe that that's on TV. And that's on TV. And we've got all these independent wrestling companies that can't get on TV. It just does not make sense. Maybe, I don't know. And I think there's ways, like a lot of, I think some of these different indie channels or indie promotions are doing things like Roku channels and stuff like that. It's not TV, but it could be like TV. I think the NWA is doing it right now too, which is, NWA, in my eyes, is still a big company, even though it's indie, but they got a big time name owner, and they've got lots of names in the company. They do TV all the time. So in my eyes, they're a big company, and they're on Roku. I don't think they're anywhere else. For a while, when they didn't have a channel, they were on X. They were running their weekly TV on X, Twitter. I don't know how many views they were getting or if it was monetized, but it seems that they were doing well. And then I think there's different ways to monetize things that maybe us indie guys don't understand. So I watched JCW the other day, and they're advertising their TV taping, big TV taping. I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, this is good. They're pushing some dates, live crowd, make some money, and the TV taping's free to the fans. So I'm thinking, okay, I know they have fly-ins. They have to have fly-ins based on some of the talent they've got there. So they got the flying guys in. They're just on YouTube, so obviously they're monetizing, making a little bit of money there. They're not charging the fans any money to go to that show. So where are they getting their money? You could say to me, "Oh, it's because they've got lots of money, they don't care." I don't think so. That company, I believe, makes money. I believe strongly because they run big shows and some big festivals too. So either they're offsetting their free shows with some of the big money shows they're making. But it seems that with those big shows, they're not shy about bringing lots of names. So then watching their TV, I saw yes, they have the YouTube commercials, and they have a lot of them. But they have other random commercials of their own spliced in. So I believe they're making some money there. They're making money off YouTube. They're doing that. Maybe not all of those shows are free, but who knows? Maybe they're making a boatload of money on merch, and maybe they've got deals with these venues for concessions. I don't know. But I guess what I'm saying is they're doing weekly TV on YouTube, and I don't want to take away from what they're doing because I think it's pretty cool. It's different, right? It's important to be different than everybody else. I kind of think that's what happened to like a company like DDT to make it grow so much. It was just very different. But Jesus, I'm talking in a circle here. What the fuck am I trying to say here? They're different, and maybe we're not on an indie level thinking about the money, like how to make money and monetize things. Like we're not seeing the full picture. And here's me. I kind of went on my own, and sure, I'm a YouTuber, and sure, I'm monetized. If you think I'm making big money off that, you're crazy. Where I get to make a little bit of money. Let's talk about money here. Everybody wants to talk about money. So I'll make a little bit of money from my supporters through like Buy Me a Coffee, and I'm not plugging this, so you can go on Buy Me a Coffee and buy me one right now, but that's how I make a little bit of money. Through the YouTube paid subscriptions, I make a little bit of money there. My Pro Wrestling Tees makes a little bit of money. All these little things add up, and literally, the last time I went to Japan, a lot of people, oh, you just go to Japan, you fly there yourself, blah, blah, blah. You know, a lot of gaijins fly themselves to Japan. I'm just going to say that right now. But I use it with wrestling money through my supporters, and it's tricky. I have... Some people don't know me outside of wrestling, and that's fair. And some people only know me outside of wrestling. I have a heart and a soul, and I feel guilty. Like, if someone is giving me money, I want to give them their money's worth, if that makes sense. I'm not giving a sob story to get paid extra money. Like this show today, you got to think I'm not making big money. Like, I'm driving, I'm saying 16 hours, but it's going to be way more than 16. It'll probably be 18 hours. 18-hour drive. And how long was it? 5? And then 5 hours of me just hanging out at the show and doing the show. So what's the quick math on that? What's that, 23 hours, I think? So if I'm home before 8 a.m., it'll be less than 24 hours. So on how much money these are indie companies, how much can they really pay me? So I'm doing a lot for love, right? Love, I'll make a little bit of money, little bit of money doing the show, little bit of money, and then maybe a little bit of YouTube and a little bit of Buy Me a Coffee and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I'm definitely not getting rich off of this. But I ask myself every day, when am I going to retire? And then I ask myself, so let's say I retire tomorrow. I just snap my fingers and say, fuck it all, I'm retiring. What the hell would I do? Like, I took a month off, all that family shit I was talking about earlier and stuff, and here's me telling you I'm trying to make a giant server and things like that. Like, I'm trying to, I gotta stay busy. And if you know me, you know, like, I got all these little side gimmicks where I do these things to get points and free stuff and blah blah blah. And it's a sick addiction of mine to get stuff for free. I'll tell you that. But I just don't know what I would do. And I ask myself, well, does that mean in March I'm 48? Does that mean I'm going to retire at 50? At 49? At 48? At 60? At 70? Like, somebody told me the other day I'm never going to retire. I'll shout them out there. Out of the blue, my buddy Marius, my old student, who's out of the business. I wish he wasn't out of the business. But he's a happily married guy with a kid, living the life. Just shot me a random message, and my heart melted to hear from him. Marius, I doubt you're listening because you're not even on social media except for LinkedIn. But if you are listening to me, I love you, brother, and thank you for that message. But he said I'm never going to retire. But I don't know. I can remember, and I was definitely vlogging at this time, and it's understated, where I fucked up my ankle. And I fucked up my ankle now a few different times. Once in the ring for CWE. It was my fault. And it was fucked. I was on crutches. I couldn't walk. It just fucks everything. Like, I want to be able to live my life outside of wrestling, right? And I went on a family vacation to Hawaii with this fucked up ankle. And now, if you know anything about Hawaii, like, when I spent all that money, like, we'd saved up forever. We go to Hawaii, and I can't walk around. Like, it was horrible. Like, I felt so bad for my wife, who wanted to, like, go hiking, and I couldn't really go hiking. I hobbled around a bit. I taped it up. Make some Tylenol, brother. I'm good, right? But, oh, man. was fucking brutal. So then, I get all fucked up again. I fell off a ladder. This is not wrestling related. I literally fell off a ladder, and my ankle was fucked. I had to miss MIW booking, and this one is even worse. If you've watched, I know I've vlogged about. I went to like Depot Fest. That's what it was. The chef, his restaurant, he had a big festival, and they took care of us like. Geez, hold on, my map is seeing that. But 1.5 kilometers, I'm going west to St. Cloud, and this looks familiar. So maybe I'm not all fucked up where I thought I was missing my turn. But anyways, that first Depot Fest I did, I'm being honest here, where chef treated us like VIP. Literally, I'd never been treated so well on a wrestling show, where everything was free. We were paid well, as much food and drink as you can. He had great merchandise, like he had these cups with wrestler with our pictures on it and stuff like that. Man, it was awesome. And I was so looking forward. I'm not gonna lie, I was so looking forward. Like, it was the time of year, like it was the one show I didn't want to miss. And unfortunately, I got all fucked up. And again, my body, I'm an old man, right? It took me a little bit longer, but I missed those 2 shows, and it broke my heart to miss those shows. And now, and then they made a nice, my picture's on one of those cool cups, and I've got those cups. Thank you, Tim, for giving them to me. But Chef sold his restaurant. There's never going to be another Depot Fest. Well, maybe there will, but I highly doubt it. Hey, Chef, it was great to see you there today, too. I don't know if you're probably not watching me go on and on and on. Well, someone's got messaged me something here. And I can't read it now. I'm a piss break. I'll read the messages. But there's never going to be another Depot Fest. And I missed it because I'm going to tell you, if I was a younger guy, I probably wouldn't have been on the shelf for so long. And then even I took my time, and then I taped it up, brother. I taped it up good. And if you know me, I'm not a big painkiller type of guy. Like, I'm like if you gave me like an extra strength Tylenol, that'll do me. Like, I stay away from it, so this way if I ever need it, it helps, right? But I'm telling you, when I got back in the ring, I've taken a couple of those, which really helped, but hurt, right? Like, it's no good to take those pain pills, because then you can't, like, pain is good because it shows you your limits, right? I took a couple of those to make sure I can get through the match, had them taped up, but if I was a younger guy, I swear I could recover from those more. And here's me crying the blues. But, there's wrestlers I really, really respect in this business, like, let's say, Terry Funk and Ric Flair. And now, nowhere do I ever want to say that they wrestled too long. Because, no, I don't want to say it. No, they're great. I'm nowhere. Those guys are like, if there was a score, like in my eyes, those are like 100 out of 100. And I'm like a solid 38 out of 100 or something, right? So I'm not comparing myself to them, but they were old dudes. And I just wonder, like, maybe they were way, like, they're elite, right? So maybe that's the deal. But I bet you it was rough if they got hurt. So I'm not gonna say I wrestle like a pussy now, because I don't want to get hurt, but I kind of wrestle like a pussy a little bit, and I try to do what I'm good at and stay away from anything risky, which might bore the fan. I'm worried about boring the fans. But then if you see, I've got the match on tape today, which I'll show in my shitty vlog that you guys can watch when I eventually upload it, probably on Monday. But man, the crowd was into my match. Like, they were into it. It was so easy. And I think about when I was, I peaked too soon in my wrestling career. I know it. I was NWA Canadian champion in like 2002, maybe 4 years in, 5 years in, I don't know how old. Wrestling with Kerry Brown. And Kerry Brown, He's a legend in my eyes. Just so you know, tons of respect. He was not athletic at all. He was overweight, but man, could he wrestle. And when I say that, do I mean go behind, waist lock, top? Like, I'm sure he could do all that stuff, but he did what he was good at, and it was so believable. And I always felt like, am I being lazy in there with Kerry? But really now I look back and think, are these guys that are younger doing too much? Now, I'm, again, nobody big time, nobody famous. I'm just a Joe Schmo that travels around a little bit. There's a little bit of pro wrestling. But Darby Allin's back in the hospital apparently, right? Like, unless it's a gimmick, but I don't think it is. All these guys are getting hurt, like, really badly. And, you know, something an older guy told me once, Don Cabrera, God rest his soul, he's passed away, but he told me, Rob, when you're older, all of those little injuries you had that right now you don't feel, you're going to feel. So I think about that, like, when these guys are 60, how are they going to feel? Like, here's me at 48, and I'm just complaining that, hey, my ankles still aren't 100%, but I work around it. My shoulder's pretty tight right now from my match. But here's me being a big pussy. But I think either, and also, everybody asks me the same thing, and it breaks my heart because I love talking about wrestling in Japan. I love wrestling in Japan, but I kind of feel like when somebody asks me, "Hey, when are you going to Japan again?" It'd be like if somebody released from WWE and they're on an indie show, and I say to them, "Hey, when are you going back to WWE?" I know the question's with the best of intention, and they probably want to hear a little bit about my experience, or, but I'm scared that I wrestle there hard. I wrestle there strong style, and I ask myself, can I do it for 2 weeks? I could do it. I can go in there right now, even after you hear me crying the blues, and have a very, 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 very hard-hitting match. One match. Maybe two. But man, this old guy, I'll need a few days in between there. I need an ice bath, some cervezas or beer. Like, I just can't, I don't think I can do it. That being said, I've got tons of friends. Like, I think about, I could go work comedy style there, but again, I feel like I'm not giving the people what they want if I do that. I feel that if I take the easy, I'm not wrestling hard. And when I'm in those situations where I'm getting paid really like decent money and I want to wrestle hard, but then I think about Kerry. Kerry wrestles smart, and the fans today, I worked pretty hard, you know, let's not kid ourselves, but I wrestle a bit smart too. The fans were hot. They were hot to my match. Hot, hot, hot. So, should I just... wrestling's for the fans, right? Like, it's not for my fucking ego of, man, give me 10 chops and a strong style headbutt or, like, all the stuff, right? Like, I need to get over that. There was... And I've done different things in my career. There was a time when, just to fuck around a bit, you'd give me an arm wringer, which is the most fucking underutilized hold in the business. I can show you someday if you want to ask me about it. I would suck my thumb and do the JYD with my knees. People laugh. That was a good response, right? But it's not really... I can do that stuff. But it's not what I feel in my heart. You know, like, a lot of respect for comedy wrestlers here. Here's me not saying that comedy wrestling sucks. Or I've heard people say funny equals no money. I'm not saying that at all. There's lots of guys that made a ton of money doing comedy. And one of my main mentors, beautiful Bobby J, he's by far, in my eyes, the most famous indie Winnipeg wrestler ever. The most famous. I want to say that because, I mean, guys that haven't been to, like, WWE or Japan, or, like, I'm sure he's not as famous as Chris Jericho or Don Callis or Kenny Omega. But I would argue Bobby J might be more famous than Leatherface. Yes, Leatherface, Rick Patterson, Manitoba Boy. I think Bobby J might be more famous than him. Maybe when you look at the grand scheme of things, you might say, well, Rob, you're fucking crazy. Because I can look in the Japanese wrestling magazine and see there's Leatherface, sure. But I know from selling Japanese wrestling merchandise that that's a really small niche audience. And if you went to randomly Polo Park Mall in Winnipeg and asked 1,000 people if they knew who Bobby J was or Rick Patterson, they knew who Bobby. More people would know who Bobby J. I call him the mayor of Transcona, and he was and Bobby did comedy, but Bobby also wrestled. And Bobby, I shouldn't speak for Bobby, but I would see Bobby when I was a young guy. He always wanted to do stuff, wanted to do the high spots with the young guys. But I look back now and see the high spots we did in the match didn't get over. Bobby's character and comedy really, really got over. And I say to myself, yes, I used to do some amateur wrestling, a little bit of drunken boxing, all that kind of stuff. Fans don't really care about that. They just want to be entertained. So I'm sure every wrestler has to get it through their head to not be doing that bullshit, to just worry about the fans. I don't think it hurts my bookings. I think some of these companies, they'll book me because I've wrestled Japan, Mexico, England, US, Canada. And they have an old guy like me with that experience, different experience than a lot of guys. Like I have different experience than lots of guys in dressing rooms, right? So I can offer them something a little different. I'm not drawing them any money. They know that. I know that. I think they all know that. Maybe some people think, oh, a YouTuber maybe, but I'm not drawing you. If you book me, sadly, you're not making any money off of me. I'm sorry. You're not. That probably just decreased all of my bookings, but you really are not making any money off of booking me. But I offer a different experience for their wrestlers and their young boys especially. I am struggling though because the wrestling has changed so much. This is a vlog. This is all behind the scenes bullshit. So I'm going to say that a lot of guys in the back, like I have a shit memory. I think it's I've been hitting the head a lot, chairs, sports, you name it. Maybe just old age, I don't know, but I have a shit memory. It really is shit. And I like to go out there and feel it. Feel it in my heart, feel it in my nuts. But I go, everybody wants to just call the whole match in the back, move for move for move. And I struggle with that. That's why I kind of like in tag team matches, because I can remember some of my shit and I can improv and feel it and blah, blah, blah. But for me, memorizing anything is tough. You can ask the guys in the back. You can be like, I spend more time probably thinking about not fucking up the names when I have a promo. Like they'll give me specific names I got to talk about. They'll be like, you got to talk about Chadwick the third, and you got to talk about this guy and this guy. And it's different for me because here's me wrestling in Minnesota now quite regularly, so I'm doing a better job. But I can remember Winnipeg guys' names because I've just been with them so long, right? Through, I guess, memory through osmosis, if that's a thing, or whatever. If I use the wrong term, you can tell me about that later or leave a comment. But these guys I don't necessarily know, like, cause there's tons of wrestlers in Minnesota, so these are all kind of new guys, and I gotta fucking remember their names. And you ask guys, and I'm in the back pacing, not wanting to fuck up their names. And then there's always these in my promos. They always want me to talk about American sports. Now, I love sports. Don't get me wrong. I watched the Blue Jays World Series run. Sadly, they lost. I watch a bit of hockey. But I, as a young man, knew all about sports. As an old man, I don't watch anymore. I don't watch it like I used to. So it's really tough for me to shoot out a NFL player's name or a team. I got the teams. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not that dumb, but I feel like the promos need to be from my heart, like a famous Canadian singer, Bryan Adams, says, straight from the heart. And I get so stressed thinking about the A, B, and C I need to say in the promo. If you watch my promos, no stress in me doing the ad-lib stuff. Not at all. It's easy. And most of my career was ad-lib. But now, and again, this is the difference between indie and a pro. I know if I went to WWE, if WWE said, we want a fat old bald man with a hairy chest on our show, and Rob Stardom, you're that guy, they're going to produce me 100%. It literally will be, you're going to say A, B, and C, and you're going to be doing these moves in this order at this time in front of these cameras. I couldn't fucking do it. I couldn't. I couldn't do it. Not that WWE is going to be hunting for me, but hey, if you are, I'm ready. I can get fatter if you need. I can even get balder. But just throwing this out here, I cut my hair today. I had a ton of hair on the ground. I almost want to show the wrestling world. I'm going to grow my hair out, and then I'll cut it. You'll see how much hair. I grow a lot of hair. I'm just throwing that out there. But nothing wrong with being a bald guy either. But there's lots of us bald wrestlers. Maybe that's the problem too. You think there's too? You got to leave a comment. Is there too many bald wrestlers? There's this guy. I think he calls himself on YouTube like Marky123 or something like that, and he takes shots at indie companies, and he takes a lot of shots at the NWA, and he calls them like the bald boys wrestling or something like that. I don't know, but you start looking and going, fuck, he's right. All these guys are bald. So I'm going to circle back to another thing I said about I offer a different experience in that locker room. It's true. So let's talk about the locker room today. In there, I'll say the stud of Minnesota wrestling. We'll call him the stud. Mitch Paradise. Mitch Paradise offers a very different experience in the locker room than I do. He has wrestled, I bet you he's wrestled everybody in Minnesota. Everybody. He's been the champion in Minnesota for probably every fucking promotion. He's had tryouts with WWE. He's wrestled in Puerto Rico. He's done lots of different stuff. But me, on the other hand, I haven't had those big company shots. I haven't wrestled everybody in Minnesota. But I have, again, wrestled in Mexico, where if I share a story about me wrestling in Mexico, it was crazy, where I couldn't speak Spanish, and calling the match to them because they like to call the match. I was saying like Tope and Huracan Rana, like these are the things that I know they know, but what got me over, I got over in Mexico, it's because I worked like I was in fucking Canada. It was a gimmick, but I worked the right side. I worked in Mexico. I worked in Japan. In all these different styles that are just different than anybody in that locker room. Although some of the young guys went to England, and Celtic Wolf just did, I think he did Ireland, and now he came up to Canada. So it's nice to see these guys branching out, because I believe strongly you need to be able to work any style. If you watch the match from tonight, you'll see. Just driving by Big Lake. That was where I came and worked for Terry Fox. I came all by myself to come work for Terry Fox at one time. Wrestled a guy named Mason Quinn in Big Lake. The young guy, one of the young guys was wrestling. Tons of potential, man. But holy cow. Maybe it's because I'm an old man now. He's been in the business 10 months. And no fear. Full of piss and vinegar. Like, I should have been videoing this guy. He's like a ping pong ball in the dressing room. And all I'm thinking to myself, I remember being young and not knowing what people are thinking. But all I'm thinking is, holy fuck, how am I going to keep up with this guy? And Jesus, I hope he's not like this in the ring. Because he was excited. He did a double shot. He wrestled earlier that day. And he was doing a second match. And when he found out we were going 20 minutes, he was like, yeah, maybe we can go longer. I'm just thinking, Jesus Christ, like, what's... It's like the opposite of everybody I know, right? But all different perspectives now. In the old days, the old timers probably weren't as nice to us guys, and probably would have ridiculed that guy a little bit, but it's a different age, right? Like a different time, different age. I gotta respect that kid's love for the business. Oh my God, I am so thirsty. And that kid showed great fire. I'll tell you that. That kid had great fire. Great fire. It's 11:15 my time. It seems like I got quite a few comments going on here. I can't believe there's still people watching this blank screen. It's like black. I get it. I can turn the light on, but I don't really drive with my car light on. But, Fargo, 192 miles. Yeehaw. I'm going to have a sip of this coffee. I love coffee, by the way. If you ever had to buy me a gift, like random, if you had to buy me a gift and you bought me coffee beans, you're good. Even not even beans, just good old coffee. I like cheap instant coffee. I like regular coffee. I like, you name it. But my favorite coffee, wait for it, it's coming, is free coffee. How do you take your coffee? Like, I drink mine black. But, I was a young man. It was like, I had to double. My kid likes a Starbucks. So if we go to Starbucks, I say, okay, let's get one of those Frappuccino things or something with caramel and put some on it or whatever. But I don't understand. And it's because I'm a boomer, I guess. Like, I don't understand the sizes of Starbucks. Like, I think it should be large, medium, and small. But there's like a grande, venti, like all this. I don't know what the fuck any of those are. I'm sorry, Starbucks. I should know, but I don't. It just does not make sense to me. I really wish that my winter jacket was off right now, because it's nice and toasty in this car. I am not sure if I will be taking a nap at some point on this ride, but I kind of got to get my ass all the way home ASAP, because I don't want to miss my kid's game. Really, when I think about it, like, I made this commitment to the kid and the team and everything. I probably should have canceled this show well in advance, not to leave them in the lurch. But I hate leaving them short, because I said I missed an MIW show because my ankle was fucked and I felt bad. Once there was a big snowstorm, I still came. So, and hey, I'm not coming in January, because we got Wrestling for a Cause, Dream Factory. That's happening. January 24th, the same night as MIW, so I'm not coming. But February, I'm coming. Now, if you are a Winnipeg wrestler and you want to make the trip, I can put in a word and maybe get you booked. Or or if they're full, there could be a guy sick. Like today, there was a guy sick. You probably could have got a spot. Or you come down, you help him out, shake some hands, kiss some babies, do some work, probably get you booked in the future. And the Minnesota scene, like, there was 3 fucking shows in Minnesota today, I believe. There are shows, there's multiple shows every weekend, different companies. Now, here's where you should be saying to me, Rob, there's all these companies in Minnesota. Why the hell are you only working for one? Well, there's so many wrestlers in Minnesota, so many. And they all work for everybody, it seems. This is me as an outsider looking in here. And they all work for everybody. So sometimes it may be tough to tell them apart. Like if you're an outsider looking in, like someone from Winnipeg. They're all the same guys, all just mixed up differently for the most part. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm sure there's some guys that are exclusive to just some groups. But I decided that I don't want to work for anybody else in this area because, first off, I want to be special for them, and that I think that's the main thing. And they're taking their time. They're investing their time and effort in me. So I think it's fair. It's fair game for me to do that. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I mean, the guys from Minnesota should work for everybody. So, sorry, I'm switching hands, and I'm going to try to sip some more coffee because I am losing my voice. How long have I been going on for this? Oh my God. So some more interesting things I may as well talk about. There's a guy I'm really, really proud of right now. And the Iron Python, Curtis Housen. Why am I proud of this guy? Man, this guy, first off, he loves wrestling. He's loved it forever. I believe he started to train just after me. Maybe a little bit after. But he never really got into wrestling. He has a real life and a real business and a family, all this stuff. But he always respected it, I believe. As in, he wasn't I'm not saying some guys that know what's going on in wrestling or that are fans or dicks. I'm not saying that at all, but some can be. He respected wrestling, I believe. And would also give back if wrestling. Hell, he's sponsored my vlogs. He'll sponsor wrestling events. Like he would give back to the wrestling community. And now he's kind of gotten back in it, and he's doing a little bit more wrestling. And I don't know if you know anything about him, but he's like a movie star. Like he does these movies. Like he's in movies and TV shows. Like he's like a famous dude. But he loves wrestling so much. He's doing it. And I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say this. I know that his family probably doesn't love wrestling a lot. But he loves it so much. He's doing it just enough to be showing the business respect, as in putting in the time, but also showing the love of the family, like, not dumping them. And he's still running his business. He's still supporting. So super proud of him. And, I should talk about something maybe controversial that I'm not fully up to speed on, but I'll just, because it involves some Winnipeg people here. So if you look at X, Sarah Stock right now is unloading on AEW, and it looks like on TNA too, unloading on them for their backstage practices. I don't know the full story, but if you aren't watching this and reading it, you should, especially if you're a Winnipeg person, because Sarah came from Winnipeg. She got her start with TRCW. I originally broke her into the business. Nor am I saying I trained her. I broke her in, taught her the basics, and she was a natural. She went on the road right away and started learning as you go. And worked for some big companies and did some producing spots for some big companies. And she's in a X battle right now, or Twitter battle, whatever you want to call it, with these companies and with some fans are on their side, some aren't. It's interesting to watch, but there's three sides to every story. I know that, but usually when there's some smoke, there's some fire. But what do I know, right? Anyways, that's kind of I can't comment on it because I don't know. I haven't been in the back. I didn't work for AEW. I didn't work for Impact. I'm sure that everybody says, "Oh, once you get fired, you're bitter." But some of the stuff she's saying, I don't know, man. Doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound good. Anyways, if you've just tuned in, which maybe you have, let me know in the comments what happened with Saturday Night's Main Event. Did John Cena, what happened? Was there a swerve? Is he done? Blah, blah, blah. Did Chris Jericho show up? Speaking of Winnipeg, I'll give you now a Chris Jericho story. This might make you want to listen for a second. So, I've never met Chris Jericho. Never met him. But when I was a young wrestler, probably like 1999, maybe it was 2000, I don't know, maybe 2000. I used to work midnights at 7-Eleven cooking chicken. Yes, big time, right? Big time. And in St. James, which is area of Winnipeg, which actually Chris Jericho grew up in, from my understanding. Out of the blue, Chris Jericho comes into that 7-Eleven. And this is when he was in WWE. So probably 2000, because it's Y2J, right? And one of my coworkers got him to sign WWE, might have been F at the time, I don't know, magazine. It was a cover of The Rock, not him. But hey, super cool that he was a guy on national TV, just walks into a 7-Eleven. I think to myself, if I was ever famous, would I just go grocery shopping or go to 7-Eleven? If I was famous and a bad guy, would I be open to signing autographs, worried that it's going to take away from my character? I don't know, but I hear a lot of stuff, not like, I hear a lot of stuff that maybe Chris Jericho isn't the nicest guy sometimes. I think there's some videos of him online, but I'm going to tell you that it seems to be okay in my books. And when you get into everybody's shoes, it's different, right? Like, I could go to a restaurant and eat and nobody talk to me because I'm a nobody. But I wonder what it's like. Imagine you're in a restaurant. Maybe you just got back from an overseas tour or something like that, and you've got no sleep. You're there with your family. You haven't seen them for weeks, and you're being bombarded by people, and you just want to hear how your kid's doing in school and stuff. Might be tough. Maybe tough. I'll never have to worry about that, but I think maybe if stuff like that happened, I might turn into the champ. If you don't know who the champ is, you should maybe Google the champ, and you'll see he fucking loses it. I could definitely see that. Me being upset about that, and probably then I'd probably be more like an Uber Eats guy. I think a lot of these famous guys have a shitty, like they can't go out in public. Have you heard any bad Jericho stories or good ones? It seems that if there's a wrestler that's having problems and has a GoFundMe, Jericho's the first guy to throw money down. I respect that. And he's running that Jericho cruise, giving the boys work. I'm sure he's making some money out of it too. Let's not kid ourselves. But hey. So here's me talking about Jericho. I just talked about Sarah Stock. I mentioned Leatherface. I don't know if Kenny Omega and Don Callis' names have came out of my lips yet, but I'll mention them now. And I'll tell you that I've wrestled all over the place, and all over the world. And one thing I find about my home territory, Winnipeg wrestling, let's say, it's different. And let's say when I first started wrestling in Minnesota as a young guy, there would be guys coming to the shows. There would be Lenny Lane, who had just finished in WCW. There would be Jerry Lynn, who, like, there would be, and all these old AWA guys, they would all come to the show. And everybody talked to them, like, and they'd be there, kind of giving back to the community. Go to Japan, same thing. Go to Calgary, you're running into, oh my God, there's Gamma Singh. Like, all these guys that been there, done that, would be at the local shows to hang out. Now, here's me as a local guy saying that I feel strongly that that doesn't happen in Winnipeg. Hey, Rick Patterson, you're probably not listening, which is okay. I begged him to come. I begged him, please, Rick. First, it'd be great to have you on the show. But even if you don't want to wrestle, come sign gimmicks, just to talk to the guys. I feel that my territory was learned to do by doing. And hey, it worked for Kenny Omega. He learned to do by doing. He went to Japan. He did all this stuff, right? He did it all on his own. I believe strongly. He did it. He made it. Yay. But man, why can't anybody give back to Winnipeg? I just feel like you don't see them in the locker rooms ever. I felt this way even about guy. Oh Jesus, you guys are gonna be like, oh, Rob shooting and all these guys. You know, there was Winnipeg wrestlers I truly looked up to as Evil Eddie Watts. I don't know if you heard of him. He wrestled in Japan, in Mexico for CMLL, all over Canada, like you name it. He wouldn't come to shows unless he was booked, obviously, but he was booked very, very rarely back home. And I think to myself, and here's me not wrestling locally right now, unless it's for my own company. Why do these guys not want to work locally? Why? And maybe they, sometimes guys feel that, you know, if I'm an international wrestler or if I've been on wrestling for a big company, it's a big step back to come and wrestle for a small indie. Maybe they think that. Maybe they just don't want the local headaches, because usually when you wrestle locally, then all of a sudden there's local gossip. There's all sorts of politics involved. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're like me to a certain extent, where they would rather wrestle, let's say, internationally a couple times a year than wrestle 100 times locally. Maybe that's it. Like, when I was young, I wanted to wrestle 1,000,000 times. Give it to me. I'll wrestle 1,000,000 times. Like the young kid today who had a double shot. Good for him. But now, I really don't. I want to be in dressing rooms that are cool and different to me, not the same venue week after week, same people. Maybe you should be pointing the finger at me saying, Rob, why the fuck aren't you going to these local shows, hanging out? I was a part of the local scene in Winnipeg for probably 25 years. So, will I come back? Yes, I will. CW asked me to wrestle all the time. It's just, usually when they ask me, they had a show last night, and me being an old man, I didn't want to do a double shot because I knew what today was going to be like. So maybe I should. But then, you know, I sit and think about pro wrestling a lot. Too much to be honest with you. Way too much. And I think about things that I still want to do. And then I share them. Out loud. And then I do that, and then I put pressure on myself. Well, I said I want to do studio TV, and I haven't done it. Am I a failure? Or people thinking, Rob, you just talk? you name it, right? I say different things that I think I want to do. I want to put a show on a streaming service. I want to do these different things, right? And I have a venue's willing for me to run monthly, weekly, daily. Well, maybe not quite daily, but I can run it as many times as I want. I'm dragging my heels, but part of it is you heard me go on. I'm sure you haven't been listening for however many minutes this is, maybe getting on 2 hours. I'm sure you haven't been listening that long, but you're like, November was tough. There was another month where my wife and kid had surgery. That was August into September. So it's tricky. All these different things are going on. And the other little thing, and it's so minute, is what's holding me back is that I don't own a ring right now. I can get a ring. Don't get me wrong. I can get a ring. I get a ring for when I run shows. But I don't own a ring, so I have to ask somebody for it. And an old man like me don't like to ask, so I should probably just buy a ring. But also the other thing is, I don't live in Winnipeg. I live in Selkirk. Now, Winnipeg is a 30-minute drive from Selkirk, so it's not far. But I have this internal struggle that, and if you ask me where I was from, you're from a different country, I'd say Winnipeg. I'm from Winnipeg, and I've been a part of that wrestling scene for over 25 years. I lived in Winnipeg for many, many, many years. But I live in Selkirk. I lived in Selkirk for maybe 20 years. My kid's 18, so at least 18, maybe 19, 20, I guess, And I've lived in Selkirk for 20 years, and I feel that if I'm doing pro wrestling, especially something for the community, right? Young kids, I should do it for my community. I've ran different shows, and then it's tough because if you know anything about me, I have some other side businesses. So for me, money isn't the big thing, although I try to be fiscally responsible when running wrestling shows and doing wrestling. I try to do it as a business. But money's not important to me. So if I do, like I did a charity show in Selkirk for the food bank. And we gave them all the money and food. We had people bring food too. Off the top of my head, I'm sorry, I can't remember how much we raised, but I did a vlog for a long time ago. Maybe I don't know, maybe 4,000 or 5,000, whatever it was, and lots of food. But people say things like, because everybody talks, oh, he's doing it, he's getting all these big tax receipts. So he's making all this money off it. Well, unfortunately, I'll say this out loud, the Selkirk Food Bank was not a registered charity. I didn't get anything for it. And I didn't care. I did it because I saw a bunch of people in the community that seemed to be struggling and use that food bank a lot, and I did it for that reason. But I know what it's like being in that wrestling bubble where it's fun to talk about people, and especially when you don't know what's going on. Maybe that's another reason why I'm sure I mentioned, because I'm just rambling forever, about Sarah Stock on X, but I can't really talk about it because I don't know. But maybe if Sarah's watching this, she could comment on it, but it is what it is. So I guess deep down, well, Winnipeg's still my community too, don't get me wrong. But as an old man, I want to run that show, and when I'm done the show, I want to go home 2 minutes away, not load up, tear down. Like, it's a lot of work to put together wrestling shows. And shout out to Terry Fox, because I ribbed Terry about being an old guy, but I think Terry's over 70. I think that. I think I'm right. Like, I'm saying that with love. So, Terry, if you're under 70, you can tell me I'm a dickhead, but I think you're over 70. Terry Fox sets up that fucking ring. He helps set up the fucking ring. Terry doesn't need to work. Terry doesn't need to be at a wrestling show. But he loves it. So you've heard me say things. You can call me to task because I love pro wrestling. But maybe I don't love it enough where I have to drive a ring to a venue an hour away from my house, set it up, run a show, film it, book the talent, deal with all the headaches, take it down, drive it home, unload it, like all this stuff. Terry fucking must love wrestling. And unfortunately, a lot of the things that I want to still do in wrestling involve a lot of extra steps. Filming TV, right? Now, there's something that happened that really kicked me in the nuts and took the wind out of my sails. And it's the only other time I went live. We did some shows up north for Tony Candello. And I was so excited. I'd filmed, how many episodes of TV was it? It was a lot. Like, it was a lot of fucking episodes. It might have been like 15 episodes, something crazy like that, right? It was going to use it to lead up to this big charity show in January. And I took it with me on the road with my iPad. I took everything. And so I could be editing it on my time away from the ring. And I'd edit it, I was getting on it because I really, you'll laugh, but I wanted to make sure I had it done quickly because I feel that wrestling fans want to see things done quickly. I know I do as a wrestling fan. And it got stolen, gone forever. And it fucking kicked me in the nuts. I wanted to quit the business. 100%. I wanted to quit wrestling. I want to say, fuck wrestling. I don't want any part of it. And it was so much extra work. And I asked myself, why do I want to do this extra work? I like editing videos. I probably like editing videos and writing shows more than wrestling. And I think about it. So if I ran TV, let's say I'm running TV, or like let's say YouTube TV, whatever it is, right? How would I use myself on the show? Because most guys running shows are the top guy. And do I think I can go out there and get heat of the night still and maybe once in a blue moon pull match of the night? Oh yeah, I could, but I just don't think I'm that top guy anymore. I really don't. And I think about booking a show and where would I book myself, and I hate that scrutiny. You know, when I ran Steel Town Pro Wrestling, and if you look at the result, I don't know if you're still there or missed that, but I lost a lot of matches in the company I ran, and it's because I was so worried what everybody else would think of me, what the boys would say behind my back. Did the boys bitch about shitty payoffs and everything like that? Oh yeah, for sure. But man, there wasn't any money to be made, so it is what it is. I've been going on for 98 minutes. This is amazing. I hope I don't lose my voice. I hope I don't get sick. I still got lots of gas. Don't need a piss stop yet. This is impressive. But again, part of it is the worry of what everybody thinks. I think a lot of wrestlers have that. I definitely do. I worry about my peers think, what the fans think, what my family thinks. So, you think about YouTube. I've been thinking about doing this forever. Not this. This is some crazy fucking thing I thought about. And the vlog, and I did it. And again, did it really do much for my career? I think it did a little bit, to be honest. And again, it helped me get to Japan again. And helped me make a little bit more money as a wrestler and get a bit more bookings for sure. But I was so worried. And I look back and cringe. I look at my vlogs and cringe. It is what it is, right? But I took a chance and did it finally. It took me so long. And I have all these other ideas, and for some reason, there's like a barrier in my brain, like a barrier, a border, and should I do this? Should I do that? And I'm scared. I don't know why. Because I say I don't fucking care what people think, but I do. But me putting myself out there, I wish other wrestlers did that. I would support them. I 100% would. Why not? Try it. I used to be black and white when it came to wrestling. I thought it was only one way. And then traveling around different places, I see there's different ways. If you would have told me that I was going to wrestle in a match with no ring on a mat in a sold-out bar in Japan, I would have been like, fuck that. That's stupid. That's backyard. That's dumb shit. But then you see companies that exploded like DDT. DDT, I feel, will eventually be the biggest wrestling company in Japan. I mean, it has the most contracted wrestlers, I believe, right now. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, you can give me a keyboard lashing in the comments. But I think they do. But it's interesting because they do so many different things. They wrestle on a train. You see that train wrestling once a year. They did that wrestling where they start at the bottom of an office building. They worked all the way up to the top like a video game to the boss. Like they wrestled in a park. They wrestle in beer gardens. They wrestle in big venues like Cork and Hall. They do all of these different things. And when I was younger, it was tough for me to understand that pro wrestling is different for everybody. But really it is. Some people believe pro wrestling is a bunch of guys that are over 6 feet tall, over 230 pounds, and all muscle. Some people believe pro wrestling is like the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I think American Dream, Dusty Rhodes is pro wrestling, don't get me wrong, but let's be honest, he wasn't a bodybuilder. Some people believe pro wrestling is in the backyard. Some people believe pro wrestling is all 100% choreographed. Some people believe pro wrestling is from the heart fighting spirit. Some people believe pro wrestling is hit strong style. Some people believe it's a death match. Some people believe lucha libre. Like literally, pro wrestling can be anything you want. Anything you want. It's when I say it's art, some people say it's art, and they use that. I hate to say it's an excuse to do maybe some different things, but when I say it's art, I truly mean it. Like I try to watch all different things with open mind, and I try to talk to people about it to hear their opinions and understand them. And I don't give a guy the gears when they tell me, "Oh, all those guys using light tubes, and it's like." Oh, like backyard, and why are they doing that? Or like on the ride up here, I listen to Jim Cornette. I listen to Jim Cornette a lot, and he takes a lot of shots at maybe those sorts of matches. But maybe I doubt Jim Cornette or Brian Last are listening to this, but maybe he's too hard on that, and but here's me saying that a lot of things he says make sense from a booking standpoint. So I feel that, here's me saying this, and right now there's 4 people listening, so you can all hang me out to dry when I say this. But let's just say for fun, Jim Cornette was given $1 billion, $1 billion to be the booker for Big Japan Pro Wrestling. And they gave him the parameters that every super show had to have like a crazy death match. I think he would book it. It's $1 billion. He would do it. And he would try to make it make as much sense as he could, which is fair. Because I believe he does love pro wrestling. And I believe he plays a part on his podcast to show that he has a narrow point of view, but he definitely doesn't. His work, his work with the Midnight Express was years ahead of its time, and they did all sorts of. He's been a part of all sorts of different gimmicks and angles and things that are crazy too. And hell, his wife, she used to, I believe, and I could be wrong, but she was working with J.R. Benson, and if you know who that is, he's like a guy from, I think, California, and he ran Incredibly Strange Wrestling. Incredibly Strange Wrestling was fucking crazy. I'll tell you that. And it wasn't all, when I say crazy, it wasn't like death matches and stuff, but I believe they had that kind of stuff. But they had crazy angles. I used to be a big-time tape trader, and Incredibly Strange Wrestling had a gimmick of a guy. Oh boy, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm saying this publicly. Incredibly Strange Wrestling had a gimmick of a guy called the Abortionist. And he would come to the ring with a coat hanger. Unbelievable. And then there was another gimmick. I don't remember the name, but the gimmick was like, it was like a mix of Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker, where the guy would be down, out. And then the female valet manager would, like, I don't know if it was shoot or not, but definitely make it look like she was urinating on him. If it was a shoot, it was a shoot. If not, I can't quote me on that because I don't remember the tape that well. But then he would sit up like the fucking Undertaker and hit a comeback like Hulk fucking Hogan. It was crazy. Like, and Jim Cornette's married to a woman that was like a part of that type of group. So I believe he has an open mind. I really do. And I believe it's part of his gimmick. And I believe, hey, it's his business. So taking shots at a guy like Kenny Omega is part of his business. So, hey, that's good for him. But I also do believe that he truly wants wrestling to make sense. So, again, if he had that big paying job booking a deathmatch company, he would just try to make it make sense. And that's fair. I think every company should try to book it so it makes sense. And you can say, why? Why does it need to make sense? Why can't it just be car crash after car crash? Well, I believe that wrestling, like a soap opera, and it builds the crowd with a stronger story. I really do believe that. And here's me saying this as a guy that Winnipeg started running a show in a bar, the Palladium. No real history in that bar, although we'd been running Top Rope Championship Wrestling forever. And my first match in there was a hardcore match. No story, no nothing. We just went in there, me and TJ Bratton had a hardcore match. Do I think it was right? We used to think, oh, it's a bar. Let's give him some blood and guts. But really, a lot of people talk about this Palladium time frame in Winnipeg wrestling. I was a key figure in that company, I'll tell you, through wrestling hardcore. I worked my way up through doing barbed wire and broken glass and thumbtacks and chair shots and everything. The first ever light tube in Winnipeg wrestling happened with me and the Crimson Sheik. That's not a brag, but it's true. And I truly would put my body on the line. And I got over. But there came a point where the crowd, I can remember putting my body on the line, and they wanted more. Like, there's only so much your body can give them. So much, right? There's only so many light tubes, so many barbed wires, so many thumbtacks, so many chair shots. You get it, right? The crowd started to decrease. I believe hardcore wrestling had a big part of it decreasing. But I also believe, wrestling goes in cycles. You hear this all the time. The undercard sure didn't do their part to pop that up either, right? And hardcore wrestling played a big part in that venue growing to like sellout attendance as well. It did, 100% it did. I was there. And I get it. There was a lot of guys that didn't want to do it with me, so that's fair. And then I asked myself, why didn't I keep doing hardcore wrestling? There's a guy named Don Douglas, the Epic, and he posts regularly on Facebook. He loves pro wrestling. He's been out of the business forever. He actually from Winnipeg, went and worked for Big Japan. He did a couple shows, maybe at least one show over there for sure. He always comments, and he did a couple little comebacks. He's been out of the business, come back. Always comments that any promoter that will book it, he'll still do it. A no-rope barbed wire match. I think to myself, why the fuck does he want to do that? Like, I think now I could do hardcore and or death match, but I'd probably do it differently than what you're seeing now. As in nowadays, deathmatch, a lot of head dropping, a lot of fucking head dropping, a lot of athletic shit. And I'm not saying that's wrong. Again, wrestling is what everybody wants it to be. But I think I would do it more like I said earlier, like Kerry Brown. Think it's smart, work smart, not hard. Although, if you've ever heard that saying, work smart, not hard, I have a saying, and it's to be successful, you have to work smart and hard. But I don't want to get head dropped. I don't want to get head dropped through. I've seen some sick things on YouTube with death matches. So, hell, I've seen sick things in regular matches, don't get me wrong. But part of me misses working with broken glass and light tubes and things like that. But I think to myself, I'm 47. I want to come home to my wife all busted open with glass. You pick that glass out for literally weeks, months later. I'm not kidding. Yeah, like a month later, I'll be like scratching my head. Yeah, you can't see shit, but every little pebble of fucking broken glass comes out. Like, and then here's the other piece. I've shared videos of like, oh, here's me injured, my foot's all wrapped up, my ankle's all fucked in that. And my mom, who's older and going in and out of the hospital, will be worried. If it was a wrestling angle, worried. I'm going to tell you something right now. I didn't share this publicly, that in my hometown, Rossburn, I wrestled a hardcore match. I got hit in the head with a chair. And I bled. It wasn't hard way. I told the world it was hard way because that's what you do, right? But I had good color. It was good. It was good color. People believed, the fans and the wrestlers believed it was hard way. I think that's how you should do it. I think a lot of people will believe, but it's tough. You know, there's an old song by Poison, Something to Believe in. And I feel that it's tough to get people to believe in pro wrestling. They're not going to suspend their disbelief anymore. Yeah, I think it's really, really, really tough. Why? Because everybody knows it's a show. Now, am I saying that's worse or better? I think it's better that people know it's a show because guys don't need to kill themselves. But the problem is on these indie shows, and I'm on those indie shows, guys want to be like, I want the fans to think it's real. So I'm going to punch the guy over his eyebrow and hard weigh him. I don't think. At the end of the day, when you go home and maybe your fist is sore from punching the guy in the forehead and in the eyebrow, and the guy's got a busted open hard way and a big black eye for a couple weeks, and the guy's got to go to his probably job as an accountant or something like that, and it's probably not the smartest thing for business. And if you compare wrestling to movies, those stunt guys, it's a big work. Like, nobody in a fight scene in a movie, I believe, and I could be wrong, is getting shoot punched or getting shoot hit with a chair or getting shoot hooked up on. Like, if we are a movie TV show, we shouldn't be doing it shoot. But here's me saying that, and I work strong style from time to time, or I work hardcore, or I lay it in with a really stiff kick or a chop. It's tough because we are in front of an audience. Those movies, there's no audience unless it's on TV, the final project, right? So it makes it a little different. So we do have to lay it in and make it look as real as possible, but maybe somebody listening right now can tell me, you watch WWE, there's a lot of camera angles, switching. And AEW, I feel that a lot of those guys work really, really, really soft and safe, which is good. Maybe AEW not so much. I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna get some heat there, but so maybe we have to lay it in, especially on the indie level. But lay it in, make it make sense, right? Most guys, like I said today before my match, I'm gonna yawn. I didn't say that, but hell, I'm yeehaw. I said, please, I need to drive 8 hours home. So keep that in mind in the match. And he took care of me. I mean, again, my shoulder's a little bit sore right now. I'm going to watch the video and probably complain about it after. But I don't know. For what an indie wrestler gets paid and what they do, I wonder if it's worth it. But then on another note, I think about, let's say, people that do dinner theater or local theater. They're probably not making any money. They probably make $0. And they act their heart out. They do everything. They work hard. They probably build their own props and set up the gimmick, and they do it all for the love of it. And I think maybe that's what holds a lot of guys back. Maybe there's a lot of guys in a lot of different territories that if they were willing to go to other territories and maybe lose money to do those trips, they would get noticed. But a lot of guys aren't willing. They think, promoter wants me, they gotta fly me in. Promoter wants me, they gotta pay me big money. But most of the business happens in the bars. When I say that, that's the old way, maybe not now. Business used to happen in the bars where guys would go drink together and hang out and get to know each other and become friends, right? That's how you get more bookings. So now it's a little different because a lot of guys don't drink or go to bars. So, but still, that mingling with different talent and different promoters and different fans, it's so important. It really does help get your name out there. And building a fan base from outside of your home territory with social media is actually pretty easy. And then, boom, next thing you know, you're selling more pro wrestling tees. You've got some paid YouTube subscribers. You're doing all this stuff, right? So it does help to do that in the long run. And you might go to a territory, and 2 years later, a guy that you were working with when you went to lose money on that show, but you went out there to meet new guys, he could be in TNA or AEW or WWE. But again, that sometimes guys are narrow-sighted and don't do that. So we're just having a sip of coffee here. It's midnight here in somewhere in Minnesota. You guys are lucky because if my Spotify was on, I thought, man, this is going to be so easy to do it, because if you ever rode with me, you'd know that I love to sing loudly in the car, like really loud. And I have a wide range or a wide variety of music. Wide variety from, like, you name it. Like, I'll listen to it all. My family does not like country music, though. I'm just going to share that with the world. But I think it's okay. You know, you're listening to this going, what the fuck's this guy talking about? But But I'm just rambling. This is Rambling with Rob. This is true Rambling with Rob. There was this country song. I think it's like, I might get it wrong because I'm tired and grumpy, but I think it's like A Heart Like a Truck. When I first heard that fucking song, I thought to myself, what the fuck is this song? I used to joke about it. Like, this song is so stupid. But man, that singer hits that fucking high note. Like, hits a high spot like crazy. And realistically, that's like, it makes me think about being on the road, you know? And I love, here's me complaining, I gotta drive 8 hours, and you guys gotta listen to me go on and on and on. This is really helping me keep awake, though. But I love doing these drives. I love it a lot. And, you know, that the kid today, 10 months in the business, I really wish I remembered his name. I'll know his name when I look back. But he's got a lot of potential. A lot of fire. Wyatt, a lot of potential, a lot of fire. These kids, maybe they're going to make it somewhere. And hopefully they will remember the fat, old, bald guy with the hairy chest that maybe taught him something in the ring today or did something different. Because this is all, we're still in elementary school here in pro wrestling when we're doing these shows, if you know what I mean. It's all about gaining experience. Crazy other thing, out of the blue, I'm driving to Minnesota, and again, listen to Jim Cornette, and he put on Mr. Electricity, Steven Regal. They did an interview with him. Now, I grew up watching AWA wrestling. Big fan of Mr. Electricity, Steven Regal. And I know a lot of the young wrestling fans thought, wow, that's William Regal. But no, it isn't. And he talked about his first territory. And I know it's different in the territory days. Although I can probably go on a rant about how someone in the States could do a territory right now. But I might save that for a bit later. He said he was working his territory, home territory, where his father-in-law was the owner, one of the owners. And then he went to a different territory just so he could learn. So he can learn more. That's a big yawn there. And I'm telling you, like, he said he didn't really make a lot of money doing that. But then he said his second time around in that territory is when he became a top guy in it, right? So, again, there's a lot of things to think about for a young wrestler. Just get in the car and drive. You know, heads Carolina, tails California. I'm telling you. Who sings that song? I don't know. You know, it's a nice night. It's minus 22 right now. That's not too bad, but the car is hot. I'm still sweaty. I'm a sweaty mess from wrestling. No shower at all. And, but I'm wearing a hoodie, so I'm worried about how cold it is. I have a ton of survival gear in the back. I've got ski pants, got winter boots, I got extra pants, extra shirts, you name it. I got it all just in case, right? Knock on wood, I don't need it, but there's no snow right now. It's nice. The road is clear. I'm going to show you the road. I don't know if you can see it. There's the road. If you can see it, give me a hell yeah. I doubt you're going to give me a hell yeah, but hey, if you do, woo, give me 2 pina coladas, one for each hand. So, I said a few minutes ago, now you're going to hear the rant. I don't mean a territory in the States, but young wrestlers could literally wrestle almost every night of the week. I can start naming them off here. So, there'll be a few nights they're off. But, so every Tuesday, IWAU in Nobile, Illinois. Every Thursday, there is Pro Wrestling USA, or Pro Wrestling 01 USA in Illinois. That's Thursday. Every Friday, there's shows. There's lots of shows on Fridays. You can hit every Friday for Pro Wrestling Mid-South. They have a show in Ripley, Tennessee, I believe. But then MCW has a show every Friday in Osceola, Arkansas. These are all drivable, just so you know, like this loop. Hell, once a month, you got Wisconsin, who is it? Dysfunction. They have a show. But Fridays are easy to find a show. Saturdays, every Saturday, Pro Wrestling Mid-South has a show in Dyersburg, Tennessee. But then every Saturday, there's a million fucking shows you could get on. Every Sunday, there's a show in, in Tennessee, Ricky Morton's company. What is it? School of Morton. Boogie Woogie Jimmy Valiant in Virginia. They have a show every Sunday. And I'm telling you, there's tons of promotions with shows every Sunday. So literally, you would be off on a Monday and on a Wednesday. And you could do a loop. Keep doing a loop, doing a loop, doing a loop. And if you're like, well, I'm just going to work for all these guys at the same time all the time, you could expand that loop, finding a different Friday show, finding a different Saturday, finding a different Sunday. Tuesday and Thursday might be tricky, although OVW has shows every Thursday as well. Here, look at that. So, I mean, there's options. There's options. But I think guys don't want to do that loop. Or guys don't want to do the loop, maybe. I don't know. Now, let's talk about the same type of loop in Japan. Now, bear with me here because this one isn't in my head as much as the States. But let me see if I can name them off here. So, Sportiva Arena, every Wednesday. Every Friday, American Pro Wrestling in Kobe. Sportiva's in Nagoya, just so you know. Now, we have Saturday. If you just look at the results, there's tons of shows Saturday. Sunday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday. There's tons of fucking shows all the time. So really, and it's real easy to find them, you could do a loop of, I mean, there's companies that run every Sunday, 2AW has a show in Chiba. We got, who else has a weekly show? Yanagase Pro runs four times a month, but it's not weekly. 3 times a month, I think, but it's not weekly. And then those arenas all have other companies doing shows, and then there's traveling companies like Big Japan. Like, there's tons of options, and so many. I'm doing this experiment of writing down all these Japanese indie companies. I've got over 300. Probably the biggest list anywhere. So you can find, and there's these companies fucking do random days off. They'll do mat wrestling. Again, as a big time pro wrestler, I look down on mat wrestling. No, no. It's good. You a small group of fans that pay a big amount of dollars for a close social interaction and watching wrestling, even though it's on a mat. It's worth it. So that means that loop, you're off every Thursday and Monday, Tuesday, but odds are good you could find a show on one of those days too, so you just be off 2 days a week. And what a lot of the indie wrestlers do there is they also have a bar night where they're a guest bartender at one of the wrestling bars or just another bar, and the fans come support them. So a lot of guys and girls working, 5 nights a week. Easy. And are they getting rich? No. But they're working. I'm going to tell you a story about a guy. I'm not going to say his name. But I'll call him the Ace. And no, it's not Bob Orton, or it's not, when I say Ace, he's the ace of a mid-size wrestling company in Japan. Mid-size. They run Shinjuku Face. They run all these different, like, they run some decent sized venues. They run some small venues. They run some mat run. They do everything, right? But mid-sized company. Not small, not big, mid-sized. He's the ace. He works for that company. That's what he does. They subcontract him out a little bit, but that's where he makes his money. So, talking to the guy, you talk to a local, let's say a local wrestler, Canadian wrestler. Most of them either they have an apartment or a house, or they live with their parents, or like whatever, right? This guy, the ace of a mid-sized Japanese wrestling company that we've all heard of, which I'm not going to say, and we've all probably heard of this wrestler. He lives in the promoter's house on a mat. Like, there's a little mat. He doesn't have, like, I mean, in Japan, they sleep on mats a little bit, but he doesn't have a bed. He's a little mat. And he's happy. He says, pro wrestling's life. I have enough money to, he smokes cigarettes, to smoke cigarettes, to drink beer, to eat, and pro wrestle. That's it. I think that's love. He loves pro wrestling. And I think the problem is, myself included, because there was a time when I drew a line where he loves pro wrestling and I like pro wrestling. I say I love it, but I like pro wrestling. You can say, Rob, I watch videos of you driving for fucking 20 hours and sleeping in your car. Yes, but there's sacrificing on a weekend and there's sacrificing for your life. And I'm just going to put this out here too. This guy has went out of his way to help me multiple times get bookings. Fucking top notch. And just out of respect, because I don't want to take that illusion away of maybe what some fans think these guys are making or they're living. He, top notch wrestler, we could probably see him on definitely a top indie in North America. Maybe not AEW, but like TNA, you probably could see him. So, just a different mindset. And I think, though, that speaking of this guy, which I haven't given a name and I haven't named a company, maybe he's a little complacent because he's way better than me. He's way better than lots of guys. He's better than guys, again, I just said he could probably be on TNA. Like, he's better than a lot of guys on different TV shows. But maybe now, there was a time when I took a real paying job and liked the safety of it. I didn't want to sleep in my car. I get it. But maybe now he has taken that complacency of he's got a place to stay, a guaranteed gig. He's got his smokes and his beer, which I don't smoke, but I enjoy the beer. And he's living his best life. But maybe his best life could be being a contract wrestler for a bigger company. Maybe. But maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe who knows, right? Everybody's different. In this wrestling business, we're all fucked, right? Here's me talking to my phone while driving. Fuck, how long? I've been talking for an infinity. I see lots of comments. Someone should just give me a comment here now, like, Rob, you should stop going live and read the comments. That's fair. That's a fair assessment. Or you should stop going live and watch the road. There's the road. It's not AI, brother. So now, since I'm going on and on and on, but this is great because usually when I leave the show, I'm really tired the first hour, but I am full of piss and vinegar right now. I don't understand that saying because I get being full of piss and you get that nervous jittery. I gotta piss, but I don't understand what the full of vinegar means. But I'm going to tell you a story about a guy I really looked up to, Kerry the Pitbull Brown. We were on one of those northern death tours, which, hey, that kid that I was working with said he was going to do one of those, which is pretty cool. Maybe you've been listening for the million hours I've been on, you know that. But around those death tours, drinking beer, or maybe it was vodka at the time, I can't remember. And we had actually a hotel room that night. It was crazy. Usually you don't get hotel rooms and those sorts of gimmicks, but in a hotel room, there was me, TJ Bratt, Zach Mercury, and Kerry Brown, all sitting around the learning tree. That's the saying everybody uses now. The learning tree. And we all wanted to know, we said, Kerry. You know, if you don't know who Kerry Brown is, Kerry Brown wrestled Antonio fucking Inoki. Kerry Brown wrestled Bret Hart. Kerry Brown wrestled Dynamite Kid. Davey Boy Smith. Stampede Wrestling fucking legend. Wrestled in Puerto Rico. Was a Puerto Rico WWC Heavyweight Champion. Anyways. Kerry Brown, you name it, he's done it. Kerry. Show me how to throw a good punch. We are all young. We wanted to know. We had all these guys giving us this advice. One of the popular pieces of advice we got was to punch a shower curtain. You're always like, yeah, you're going to just touch it. You're just going to make the wind, right? Another guy gave us advice of punching a brick wall. Because obviously, if you're too stiff, you're going to hurt your hand. But you want to at least make it touch. So, Kerry, now I wish you could see my face here. Kerry goes, I'll show you how to throw a good punch. Or I'll show you a good punch. I'll show you a good punch. I'm going to turn a light on right now. I don't know if you can see me. Kerry went like this. Ah! He grabbed his face and was selling. He said, that's how you make a good punch. Nothing to do with the guy throwing the fucking punch. Kerry's will really put that over. I watch a lot of punches. I think I throw a punch that's right on the money. I can throw it against the cement wall, like the guy told me. Throw it against the shower curtain, like the other guy told me. But I really believe that selling the punch needs more than throwing the punch. That being said, I remember being a young trainer in the wrestling business. Wow, 4 people are still listening to me. Woo! And being a young trainer in the wrestling business. And I was so judgmental. And we were all thrown ahead of our time, or we shouldn't have been training, but all so judgmental of you do wrestling this way or that way. But I'll tell you, it's tomato, potato. There's no right way. You could say, but there is. I'll tell you, you watch how Bret Hart throws a punch. I think Bret Hart was doing some talking about punching on the internet recently, but you watch how he throws a punch. You compare that to Terry Funk, or to Jerry Lawler, or to Ric Flair, or to The Rock. They all throw different punches. Maybe not all, but there's definitely some different punches in that mix. Hulk Hogan, Arn Anderson, there's some definitely different punches. Are any of them wrong? I know those guys all make a lot of money, or all made a lot of money, so Giant Baba was a fucking karate chop. But those fuckers sell for him, or sold for him. That's how you do it, right? So there's no right or wrong way. Here, if you're a wrestling fan listening to this going, why is this guy fucking talking about this? I just want to see him do a bathroom review. We might do one of those. We'll see. I didn't do one for the vlog. I had this idea where I was going to do like shooting gallery, asking the guys the question. Had to answer quickly. But man, when you see my vlog, you'd be like, Rob, where's all the footage? I'm like, I didn't take much because, it's serious going here. Let's get to the venue. Let's get the show. Leave at intermission. I left before the show was over. But that's the way it is. To all my listeners out there right now, does everybody speak English? Ooh. Man, there's a lot of comments. I really should read them. But I do not want to stop. I do not want to stop yet. You can see, look at this. You just look at the road here. Can you even see that road? I don't even see there's a car coming there. Look at that. Woo. I really wish I had some music going. I think CW had a show today too. I know they had the Jobber Cup yesterday. I've asked if anybody knows who the biggest jobber in Winnipeg is, besides me, that is. Let me know. If they had a show tonight, let me know too. Here's me just groaning because my fucking shoulder's hurting a little bit. I've already told my Hawaii story, so I hope that my shoulder is fine. I mean, even with a bump shoulder, I can still hike. But maybe if it's really fucked, scuba diving, like, or snorkeling. I'm not a scuba diver, snorkeling. And I swim like a fucking lead rock, I'll tell you that. Is that even a saying? I'm a horrible swimmer. I can swim, but very poorly. But in the ocean water, man, if you know, you know, I can fucking float like a king. And yeah, it's nice. Good times. So I hope my shoulder is fucked because I want to enjoy Puerto Vallarta. My uncle is in Puerto Vallarta, so he's going to take me out onto town for one night. And my in-laws' friend Ivan is going to take us. You've already heard me say it's a free trip. So, and then I got 2 nights there, 2 nights off, 2 nights out already. So, yeehaw, it'll be free. Gotta like that. I would also say, if you wanted to ask me something, you could probably ask me, and unfortunately, I'm not going to read the comments just yet because I got to seriously drive. But when I do stop, which I eventually, I'm going to stop for a piss. And eventually, I'm going to stop for gas. I'm not going to risk it. I almost made it to Chanhassen on 1 tank of gas. And honestly, from Selkirk, I could have. But I'm a coward. I cowered out. Finally, my gas meter went like desperate need of gas. My rough calculations was like I could make it without filling up, but I didn't want to run out of fucking gas because that would have been a disaster. I am getting a little tired though. I wish I could figure out my fucking radio. Yeah, again, here's me. I edit, I do all this stuff, but I can't even figure out my fucking radio in the car. Let's see if I can figure it out. Audio. I know there's no fucking disc. Audio off. Yeehaw. Let's go. Bluetooth off. Again, I really wish you could be just listening to me singing like a big mark right now with my Spotify. One road trip. So we have like a family like playlist, right? So you wouldn't even half the music's not mine, but one road trip I asked everybody to give me some road music. So I added all that onto my Spotify. So that's good. And then Tim Larson, music connoisseur, I will call him. Always